My vision would turn your world upside down, tear asunder your illusions, and send the sanctuary of your own ignorance crashing down around you. Now ask yourself, are you really ready to see that vision?
Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go ahead and share review a streaming show that you may not have seen, but it's my job to always bring you some of the new stuff. See if you like it. So today we're going to go ahead and actually review Payback, Money and Power on Prime Video. If you like how that sounds, click like, share, subscribe. But either way, we're getting to it. Okay? So Payback, Money and Power premiered on Prime Video on January 6th. And each episode is roughly about 65 minutes. Now, this is a Korean drama that's subtitled in English, so you will be able to watch it in English versus having to read the subtitles, what have you. So here's your storyline. The series follows the story of people who risk everything to fight the money cartel that colluded with the law. They refuse to remain silent in the face of incompetent and unjust power, fight passionately in their own way. So this is what I want to say is basically a drama crime type of story and type of that genre. Kind of think a little bit of, this is a combo of kind of like of mob story and a family story with both like maternal and found family, that type of connection, and then mixed in with crime story. So there's a lot. It is unique in a bit of ways on there, and I'll kind of explain it a little bit going forward. But the people that appreciate crime dramas, mob stories, things like that, will go ahead and actually find to be the biggest targets for this. Now, like most Korean shows, every episode gives you like a ton of stories in this particular series. Okay, you're going to get a lot jam-packed in there all the time, and there's a lot in here. This one is especially detailed because we follow like different time periods over various different times. Like I believe the span is roughly like 20 some years, and we kind of enter at least 3 different time jumps throughout there, just to kind of relay stories and tie things back to it. The complexity of the characters and the stories really makes or breaks this as a series, and you definitely want to go and keep up. You got to pay attention. Now, the main protagonist, and again, you know me, me pronunciating names, especially that are just complex if I've never seen them before, so I apologize. But I do want to give credit where I can and show you the pictures so that I don't do those people too much disservice. So, main protagonist, Un Young, played by Lee Sung Krul, is very good in this role. As we see the man that he was, the man he is, and the man that he wants to become, he uses what he's good at, which is fighting and remembering numbers, as tools so that he can be respected and gain power. And he also does it, he takes care of those people that he cares about. He's a very intriguing character for people to really kind of gravitate towards. The other notable is Park Jong Kyung, played by Moon Chae Won. Now, she is driven just as hard as In Young, but she comes from the other side of the tracks, and she commands just as much screen emotion as our lead. So she's another one where she's comes from an affluent family, but she has a very good command of the screen just as much as he does. Now, for people that are just kind of casual viewers, it can't just be the main 2 protagonists that carry you, because you'll lose the story when side characters come in. The good thing on this is that the side characters are pretty decent as well. They help drive the story forward, being genuinely good-meaning characters or corrupt individuals that are obsessed with money. Either way, they are very good at what they do. So that is a good thing for casual viewers to kind of grab onto. Now, the story is so involved, there's no way to kind of sum it up in a short review. It's just impossible. Just kind of understand, we see what drives all of our characters to do what they do. And at least as our main characters, we kind of really know why they have the world and perspective that they do. We see how the balance of power shifts and what everyone does to get it, whether it's money or titles. They mean everything in this world. So you have to have money or titles in order to hold any type of significant power or anything like that. And thus, this story really kind of digs into what the characters are going to do to get that. And I think people that are really into these types of stories are going to be good with that. The people that'll have a little bit struggle with that is a casual viewer, because you have to pay attention. There's no way to fully enjoy this series and have your attention divided. You can't be kind of like playing on your phone or kind of doing this and that, because you are really trying to keep everything straight between all different time jumps and what's the motivation, everything like that, to bring you back forward. So if you hate reading subtitles, this series will be a bore or tire you quickly. As the movie really kind of moves along, it doesn't really allow for much catching up. So just kind of understand that as a casual viewer. Now, if you've never watched a Korean series, some nuances that you'll see in this, because again, as I stated, it's a mob type series, so you're kind of expecting maybe things to really kind of break off like we're used to in North America. We're used to seeing like guns and everything like that being brought into this. Guns are heavily regulated, so mob fights or any other fights are like whatever you can find, 2x4s, pipes, whatever you can to use in a hand-to-hand fight. There's more realism as far as how the fights get down, grimy, dirty. Almost think of it as like corruption versus business versus government versus unions and mob bosses, just all that kind of stuff. So just kind of understand that they don't use guns to solve things, but some violence is still happening, right? Also, another thing to know about society over there is that they're very polite, and attitudes between men and women are very different from how we perceive in the West. So kind of understand that dynamic as far as interaction between men and women, and just things that we're probably used to watching in the West or in like North America, what have you, is vastly different than what you would experience in the Korean civilization. Lastly, as the law is kind of a big component of this series, the law is very matter of fact there. But while it is very black and white, the legal system is very much the people go ahead and actually say like the laws are very idealistic, but there's ways to go ahead and actually interpret it differently. So the legal people that are prosecutors and things like that, they're very more business oriented than I think people in the West are with the law. So the legal system is kind of like a little tweak to your mind on there. And I just offer that as films that if you're going to go and actually watch this series, that kind of be mindful that the Korean civilization is a little bit different. And with this being a crime drama thing set with legal system and interactions with that, just kind of give you some forewarning on there, because I watch a bunch of these Korean series and kind of understand it a little bit better. So my verdict for uh, Payback, Money and Power is for if you are a person that really likes crime drama, family dramas, all that kind of stuff, watch 2 episodes. The acting is good, the story is deep, and you really just need to decide if you can kind of stick with the Korean style series and keep up with the reading and the time jumps. But if you can, this definitely can be a series that you might want to binge out. Now, for a casual streamer, it's a watch 1 episode. The slowness of the first episode will grate a little on a casual streamer, but if you're willing to pay attention, you'll see a good product, and you can kind of determine, okay, if I'm willing to do the reading and see all the product and everything like that, it'll pick up for you again. Get through that first episode and just kind of make that decision for you as a casual streamer. So that's what I have for my review on Payback, Money and Power on Prime Video. If you stuck around for me all this time, I appreciate you. You know I do. I love you. You might as well go ahead and actually click like, share, subscribe, because you really like this content. You know you want to. But until the next time I bring you my next review, I'll holler at you. Take care of yourself.